boys and girls, the day is finally here. For some of you, you've been waiting for VipNet to come back for what seems like a very long time, and finally, week 1 of VipNet Junior starts tonight. For those of you who've seen the little trailers and bits and pieces, you'll know that we are starting our movie series called Pilgrim's Progress tonight. Episode 1 will air in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, I just want to tell you something about this story. This story has a lot of meaning behind it. A lot of the characters and the events that you'll see in this story are not always what they appear. In fact, all the names of the characters are what they are. We'll meet different characters even in tonight's episode, and you'll hear the names and think, that's a funny name, or that's a funny word. And maybe that's a good chance for you to ask mum or dad, what does this person's name mean? What does that person's name mean? Or you could look it up in a dictionary or on the internet or something like that to find out who are these characters and what do they do. And a lot of them will interact or be visited by our main character, whose name is Christian. So as the story goes along, I want you to try and figure out, what is the storyteller trying to tell me about Christian and his journey? Before we go any further though, I'm going to stop right here because it's time to get into episode 1. Let's go. Let's find out, what is Pilgrim's Progress?
As I said before, my name is Christian. That's me, sitting under that tree there. I should be easy to spot because of that enormous burden on my back. That burden, you see, was my sin. It was full of the lies that I had told, the things that I had stolen, the curses that I'd said. Not everyone had such a burden where I lived. They all had sin, but they didn't feel troubled by it like I did, so it wasn't a burden to them. You see, I had been given a book, the Holy Bible, and as I read it, I became more and more aware that the city I lived in was going to be destroyed by fire. That is where I lived, the city of destruction. Sure, it seems obvious now that this place was destined for death, but sin had blinded me. I realized that because of sin, the city and its people would soon perish. I knew I had to escape somehow. I'd tried desperately to convince my wife of the destruction that was coming, but she enjoyed the world too much and didn't want to face the possibility of losing it. She called me a fool and thought of it no more. And so I spent my days in the field, reading from my book, crying, not knowing what to do. It was that day that I met Evangelist. What must I do to be saved?
Excuse me, but what troubles you so much, young man?
Well, you see, I've been reading this good book, and I know that I'm doomed to die for the sins that I carry, and I'm afraid that when I die, my burden will be so heavy that it will sink me lower than the grave.
And so you would like to escape from this city, and also free yourself from that burden?
Yes, but I can't see how that's possible. I am a wretched person. How can sin be undone? What hope is there for me?
Well, do you see that light shining over the field? Go towards that light, and you will see a small gate. When you get there, knock, and you will be told what to do. Now, run, and don't look back.
Well, look at that, Pliable. He's actually leaving this time.
We should run after him, Obstinate, and bring him back with us.
Just don't let him trick you with anything he says. I know how impressionable you are. Remember, he's not well in the head.
Neighbors, why are you here?
We've come to take you back with us, of course.
That's not possible. Your city is going to be destroyed by fire. Come with me, good neighbors.
And leave our friends and comforts behind? What could you possibly be searching for that would be worth leaving the whole world behind you?
All of this is worthless compared with just a small piece of what I hope to enjoy. I seek an inheritance in heaven, away from this world. Read about it here in this book.
Ha! Away with your book. Are you coming back with us or not?
I cannot.
Let's go, Pliable.
Well, wait a second, Obstinate. What if what he says is true? Maybe we should go with him.
What's this? More fools still? There's no telling where this brain-sick man will lead you. Very well, go on with him. You'll be back.
Well, we should get going. You say that you know the way to this magnificent place?
I've been told by a man named Evangelist to go to a gate, and we will be given instructions there.
So tell me more about this place where we are going.
Well, it is a place of eternal life. There is no suffering, no cruelty, none of the horrible things of this world. We will meet God and live in a place that He has prepared for us.
Why would God want us to live with Him? Are you sure we will be welcome?
We are His creation, His children. He wants nothing more than for us to seek Him.
Won't He know about the bad things I've done?
I've done evil things as well, but God must have a way to cleanse me, or there wouldn't be such a desire in my heart to find Him. I can only trust that He will have a way to save me out of mercy.
And you're sure that your book speaks the truth?
It is written by God, and God cannot lie.
I hope we will be there soon.
Whoa!
Is this your promised land? If this is what happens at the very start of our journey, who knows what dangers we will face later? I'm going home.
They call this place the Swamp of Despond. People get stuck here all the time. My name is Help. You see, when you realized that you were a sinner, this place filled up like a swimming pool with your guilt and your fears and your doubts. The Lord has tried to fix this ground and even put good steps through it, but people still fall in all the time and get stuck in the waste of their own sin. I'm glad I was able to help you. You'd better be on your way now.
You're right. Thank you. I can get back on my path now. I should be at the gate soon.
Hey, whoa there. Where are you going with that large burden on your back?
I'm going to the small gate. Evangelist told me how to get there.
Evangelist? Ha! I've heard this story 1,000 times. If you want to free yourself from that burden, there's a much easier way.
There is?
Of course. My name is Mr. Worldly Wise Man. If you want to free yourself from that burden, and even go to heaven if you believe in such things, you simply need to obey the law and become a good person. I'm sure you have heard of the law of Moses. You know, the 10 Commandments. We'll go right up this hill to that little town you see up there. That is the town of morality. Go there and you can learn to become a good person. Become a good person and you will earn your reward. Go on now.
Oh, well, okay. Thank you.
Right up that hill. There you go. Learn to be a moral person and you will earn heaven.
No, it's going to fall on me. I was a fool to take this road. I will be crushed under the weight of this mountain. Ah!
Who was it that told you to come this way?
Mr. Worldly Wise Man told me. He said I could become a moral person and free myself.
I see. Christian, the people in this town are in bondage. They are slaves to a law that cannot save them. Not one person has ever been saved by trying to be good. You are looking at this all backwards. You cannot earn heaven by being good because an evil heart can do no good. Stay on the path that I showed you, and you will begin a real transformation, and the good deeds you do then will be genuine and come naturally. Good deeds are the effect, Christian, not the cause.
I was a fool. Will you help me get back on the right path?
I will.
Well, that's it, boys and girls. Episode 1 of Pilgrim's Progress all wrapped up. Man, that was a great episode. There was heaps of stuff just happening all over the place, and a few interesting characters we got introduced to as well. We had Christian, who's our main character, who met a man called Evangelist, who told him about this wicket gate and the way he would go to get rid of his burden. We also heard about Pliable and Obstinate, two people from the town Christian was from. One tried to bring him back, and one went with Christian. Maybe not for very long. And we also saw Christian encounter Mr. Worldly Wise Man and start making his way up the hill to the town of Morality. But after VipNet Jr. on a normal night, after we hear the story, what we would usually do is ask a few questions as to what is going on. And so I want to do the same thing for you at home. I want to give you 3 questions for you to think over. And I'll even have the questions appear up on the screen. You might even want to pause the video after each question and see if you can have a go at answering it. The first question is the question of where was Christian from and why was he going? What was the name of the town Christian was from and why was he trying to get away from there? Okay, so you've had a bit of a think about that question. Here is question number 2. Christian and his friend Pliable walked on a little way before they fell into the Slough of Despond, that big green swamp. Why was it hard for Christian to get out of the swamp, but so easy for Pliable to get out of the swamp? Excellent work in thinking about that question as well. And now here is our third and final question for tonight. Mr. Worldly Wise Man told Christian that legality would save Christian and get rid of his burden. Evangelist says that legality and his son are cheats and could not help. The same goes for us. Because we are sinful, obeying rules won't make God love us. So how can we be made friends with God again if not through being good? Now that third question is probably the trickiest of the lot, so make sure you think long and hard about that one. Have a think about some of the stuff that we learnt last term in VipNet, and maybe you can ask some people you know as well to help you with those. Alright, well that is episode 1 of Pilgrim's Progress done. I will see you all next week for episode